in about an hour, I can guide you through the entire free online art lesson, Lover's Walk. All you've got to do is grab your brushes and your paints, come back, meet me at this easel. We're going to open our hearts and access our art right now. Come on, let's go. Hey, all you returning artists. It is so good to see you here in the studio again. If you're a brand new artist coming to join us, I want to say welcome. This is the studio and we're going to have fun here today. I'm going to cover the materials and every step of this fully guided painting so that you can hang this up at the end on your wall in your house. All the tips, all the tricks, let's start now. So we're going to need a canvas, a 16 by 20 canvas. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby. It's the Fine Touch and it's $7.99 if you don't use the coupon. So that's what I'm using here. I have in paint, which is wonderful. I'm using professional acrylic paints. I have Liquitex, Golden, and Matisse generally in my studio. Use the best paint that your budget will allow or that you can afford. Some of the paints, if they're very off-brand or they're very inexpensive, they cut corners on the kinds of pigments and polymers they use, and it can give you a really crazy result, making you think you can't paint when actually it's just the paint company can't make paint. So, best products that you can afford from a company that cares about you as a consumer. I've got Mars Black, Dioxazine Purple, Phthalo Blue, Burnt Umber, Cad Red, Cad Yellow, Yellow Ochre, also known as iron oxide, and titanium white. I have a cup of water, a hair dryer, assorted chalks. I also have the lipstick, because when the lipstick is on, the art party's going on. Alright, things that you might want to have in your studio is gloss, medium, and varnish, because it's important to finish acrylic paintings when you're done. There's a little link at the end of the video on the end card on our how to varnish video. Some of you will have an experience where you're having trouble because the paint is drying on you. We all paint at different speeds. That's just a reality of art. And one of the things, if you find that you're painting at a slower speed than me, is Slow Dry Blending Medium, also by Liquitex. I'm recommending Liquitex because it's what I have used for literally decades, and I really trust their mediums and varnishes, and I don't ever have a really big allergic reaction to them. Some of the other companies, they have such powerful chemicals in them, I actually lose the ability to breathe. Not that there's not warning labels on the bottles that should have told me to have a respirator, there always are, but I'm just saying. And then of course, and I think this is super important, make this time special with something that says to you, this is wonderful. This is my strawberry lemonade from HEB, you know, the fresh one that they make. Then put a little lemon here, I put it in my pretty cup, and that just lets me know this is my good time. This is my special time. I'm going to sip it because it's yummy. And it really is just incredibly yummy. Rag. Brushes today are going to be an assortment of 1/2-inch brights and 1-inch Filberts, and a small round detail. Of course, as always, there'll be a materials pinnable list and shareable list. We try to get that stuff up on the website, and we'll have some step-by-step of the couple in the center of the painting. New feature is this up close camera right here, which hopefully is going to give you guys that better view that you've been asking for up close on the painting. So we're just doing everything we can to make this easier for you. Let's get started. We got to pick a horizon line, a vanishing point, a place for our couples to disappear into, off into the sunset or their future happily ever after. So about 1/3 of the way up on the canvas, I'm going to make this line just right across. So this is a halfway point just down here. It's just a little above 1/3. You can measure if you're having trouble with your level. Can you see that right there? You can measure if you're having trouble with your level. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this walk, and right here in the middle I'm going to make a curve line that comes down here. Okay? And I'm going to make a line that curves right there. See how that is? And they bisect. Oh my goodness. we're doing perspective. I mean, it's easy perspective, but we're doing it. We're going to break up this line a whole bunch as we paint, so try not to get too stressed about it. I'm going to start out with this Filbert. It's by Creative Mark, which is just a cheap brush that I can get because I have a Jerry's Artarama in my area. These brushes are quality and they're not too expensive and I like them. This has got synthetic fiber in a medium flick black. Don't get a brush that's too soft, and always paint with brushes that are actually for acrylic painting. Get your brush nice and wet, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the background color, which is a little bit of our burnt sienna and our blue. And listen, if you've been painting with me for a while, you know what we're doing here. So I'm creating this color. You see this between the two of these. I always work, right, from the outside of my paint plops so that I have control over the purity of my color. I'm going to get a little bit of white. I'm going to test the gray, and I'm going to say I feel like that's a nice gray. You may want to add a little more brown to it if it's not gray enough to you, or a little more blue. I feel like that nice grayed sage is perfect, and that's going to be my whole background. Now here's what's crazy. The last time I painted on this canvas, it was incredibly easy to paint on, like so much so it surprised me on the angel painting. But this time already I can see that it's not the same. You're going to see that a lot in the economy 16 by 20 canvases, okay? You're not going to see that, say, on a Frederick's professional level canvas. Frederick's won't do that to you. But you're going to see that in the 16 by 20 economy canvases because they're servicing the paint at the painting party markets, the sipping paints. And the demands on those canvases now have exceeded anything that's ever happened before, which is good for these companies, right? It's good for them, and it's also rough on us because sometimes I think that, you know, we get an unpredictable result from our canvas. Just a feeling that I have. So I'm just putting this grayed out background color. This is the mist. This is our rainy day. This is why it's a rainy encounter. I am not doing an acrylic color ground today because we're doing an underpainting, which is a more thought out acrylic color ground. These are the colors that go under everything, laying out the substructure of the painting. And we're going to build this up in layers. Now, some of you might be like, but these paintings are done with palette knives. I've seen that famous artist, that Russian fantastic artist. I'm just not saying his name because I don't know if I have the right to say his name. Do something similar to this, and I might just put it in text. You know who I'm talking about. He's really quite good, and you know he's very popular right now, and he does these palette paintings. That is one way to get this look done, but you can absolutely do this with a brush. You can absolutely get this look with a brush, which I have, which you've seen, you know, the finished painting, so you know that I can. You guys that have been following me on Pinterest have been waiting for this painting a little while, and I'm sorry about that. It was a little different. I don't think it was as nice. I think this one is just much nicer. It's much more current and topical and relevant to what we're doing right now. Right? So I'm just mixing as I go. This is such a great exercise in building those color mixing art skills. When we make these tertiary colors, right? And you go, oh, tertiary? Well, tertiary means if you've got yellow and blue and you make green, that would be secondary color because that's the next color from the primaries that you mix. Tertiaries being those more compound, complex colors that come after secondaries. Like if I were to take green and add a little cad red to it to gray it out, that would definitely be a tertiary color. Okay, so that's all it is it's just a nice language for us to use when we're talking about painting. These are great skills for you guys to develop. Fun stuff. Don't really get stressed about the outcome, guys. It's not. It is so much more important that you complete the painting, that you get the skills, that you get the life and health and soul benefits from doing the artwork than anything else about it. The skills come, the results will come. All you guys have got to do is keep painting. Keep painting, keep believing in yourselves, and you will find your art process, and in that, find yourself. It is amazing what it can do. You know, we talked a little bit about nanotherapy and how that's really helping people if they've gone through a stroke or they're dealing with Alzheimer's. This is so good for people who have Parkinson's. I know for a fact if you're an adult living somewhere in the autistic spectrum or a kid living on the autistic spectrum, art is a fantastic tool. Actually, in fact, let's just say you're shy. Let's just say you don't wear crazy hats in bright colors and talk to people on YouTube anonymously across the globe. Let's say it's just really hard for you to communicate what's happening in your heart. It's a very difficult position to be in because we all have complex inner lives, right? Art is a language that is universal. So when you paint, you're able to get those feelings and those thoughts and ideas out there. So you're shy or you're on the autistic spectrum or you've had a stroke. For everyone going through any kind of communication barrier, this helps. Want to talk to your kids? Paint with your kids. You want to talk to your spouse? Paint with your spouse. Seriously. It's not just me. People are chatty when they paint. It's not just me. Alright, so I'm going to mix a very interesting color. I'm going to get a little bit of my cad yellow over to my phthalo. Okay, and I've got a little bit of green. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to add a little bit of brown to that. I'm going to gray that out with this brown. The reason it grays it out, actually, is because there's red in it. A little more here. These are fun things to do. And you'll notice this is a slightly different color than the sky. It's a little bit darker than the sky. All right, I'm coming along my horizon line here. And I'm going to come down. And just where I need to. I'm going to do an interesting thing. I am not going to follow my road edge religiously. I am going to meander it because what I'm saying is this is a natural path. And what am I always saying about nature? What am I always saying about nature? Nature breaks up the patterns. That's what it does. Okay, I've got a darker color I've just mixed here, but it's still in the green. And if you need a little yellow, come over and bring it over. You want it green. Okay, I'm going to come here. Nature will break up patterns, is what it's going to do. The only time nature makes a pattern is if it's messing with you. Think about it. Think about coral snakes. Think about eyes on butterfly wings. When nature gives you something you can really recognize, watch out. It's saying something to you. And of course, tiger stripes, that's a breaking up a pattern. What nature is saying is you can't see me. Of course, I think I would notice something stripy and orange that was running at me, getting ready to eat me. For sure. Watch that show on zombie cats. Just still working through that. It's ruined camping for me. I'm going to come across to my other side, and I'm going to get a little more white and a little more yellow for this other side. So this is a kind of a more grayed out green, and it's got a brighter yellow to it, and that's just this side. And there's a reason for that. Okay, and notice I am breaking this up. I'm just enjoying myself. You guys just enjoy yourselves. To the degree that your brain processes this data, do it. If this painting is right now a little bit beyond your art skills, I say still do it because you know what you're going to get out of it? You're going to learn a lot about yourself, and you're going to get a painting that will be better than you expect. That's what's nice. You're going to get a painting that will be better than you expect it to be. Okay? And that is always, it is nice when at any point in life you can surprise yourself. I wonder if you guys are going to give this as a gift to somebody that you love. Is this a painting about somebody you really care about? I'd definitely love to hear about it. You know, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Definitely keeps me going. Keeps me going. Share with everyone you know. Go, oh my gosh, There's this lady, and she's giving it all away for free. We're going to add a little more blue to this. For free. Online. Okay, I'm going to come right here in the middle. And this is just a little bit, very close to what I had in the background. And I'm going to work this color. Okay, I'm working this color. Grab some more white there. This is all going to be so covered up, and this is just going to peek out. Right, and that's just what we're doing. Just peeking out. I cannot guarantee the background noise. You know, got a dog, got 3 kids. They are being supervised when I do these for you guys, but you know, they're kids. Kids are kids. They do what they do. Alright? They do what they do when they want to do it. Suddenly yell. How's that looking there for you? So already the bones, the architecture of this painting is starting to come into effect. Right? This is a very interesting thing because this is really about implied line, about tonal value, about free-spirited living. It's about some pretty cool things. It's going to really bring home, you're going to have some real eye-opening moments during this painting. It's going to bring a lot of stuff home. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is notice the directionality of things that I do. I've been very horizontal. My brush strokes have been going back and forth. They haven't been going diagonal. That's an area where you could be just happily painting long and things could look very different for you than for me. It's because you've gotten very angular going diagonal with your brush strokes. You're crazy with your brush strokes. And I mean, that's totally fine. It just might give you a different result. So if you're like, why am I not getting that result? That would be why. If you're having a little anxiety right now, this is a good time to grab your delicious beverage. Your delicious beverage. I swear, I take that from Reza on Shaws of Sunset. I so watch Bravo. I don't know if you guys watch Bravo. I'm a Lisa Vanderpump fanatic. I don't know that the hat would necessarily, she's like so tasteful, but I swear I'm so inspired by her. The idea that she's not a real person in the world just freaks me out. Because my husband like suggested that. I was like, no, Lisa Vanderpump better be real. Andy Cohen, I am like Bethany, Lisa, Candy Burris, right? Yeah. Those are my imaginary girls. Because they don't know me at all. I would just die to meet Lisa Vanderpump. That would just be like losing my mind. So it's nice as you can fast forward me if you like, or pause me if you like. You have control over me. And I'm not offended by it. You need to fast forward me. Fast forward me. You need to pause me. Pause me. I'm going to dry this with a hairdryer. And I talk about this every time. So if you've been with me for a while, you're like, oh, I know. But if you're brand new, here's the deal. It's not the heat. It is the air current that dries the paint. Just try to stay about 6 inches back. Okay, and move the hair dryer around randomly. So I'm going to put this on a low. Alright, so I know that that's dry now. And I'm going to look at my palette and make some these hair moments. I love my bangs. I love my fringe, but sometimes, and I've had fringe since I was like a little girl, but sometimes it makes me crazy. Sometimes it makes me crazy. See, I got a little purple pigment on my thing, and now I'm paying for it. Alright. Now I'm going to get a 1/2 inch bright. And I want a fairly stiff bristle, so we're going to start with this one, and we'll see if this is a stiff enough bristle for me. Okay. I'm going to get it wet. I'm going to come here and I'm going to get a little yellow. A little blue. Yellow, and I want a brighter color right here. I'm gonna get some white into it. Alright. You know, if you need to, you can always get some yellow ochre. Alright, and then I'm going to make, if you've been following along, you know I've got this Jackie Chan thing I'm always talking about. It is a series of random up and down motions, right? Because this painting, guys, is totally about layering. It is about layering and color theory. Those two things are critically important to the result. So you definitely want to be layering. And I know that, you know, I've got some story of some woods I've got happening back here that I'm telling, and I just want to make sure that those layers are there, telling that story. I might glue this up a little bit, glue this up a little bit, get into it with this blue. Look, I'm right in there with that blue. Look at that. We're going to be doing some crazy, crazy color stuff. Also pay attention to how I'm doing the brush strokes. How I'm doing the brush strokes helps give that feeling of the palette knife. Now, palette knife, I'd just be working it like this. This is a palette knife, if you're wondering. That's a palette knife. Mama Hoot on her channel has a how to use a palette knife video. If you're curious about that and would like to know more, she has certainly painted with a palette knife a lot of her life, and she knows a lot about it. She's got a really unique way of doing it. And of course, because she's my mom, I think that it's better than everybody else's. That's what I think. Hope you guys are enjoying painting with me. I hope you love it. I hope you're enjoying your painting journey and you're finding happiness and healing through this process. Now I've got a little bit about below my horizon line here, right? So there's a bushy shape. You just sort of see this sort of, look, this part is fun and I'm used to it, and you know. Okay, I've got another little color here. It's a little more in the yellow. And I'm going to come I'm going to add these. Super fun for me. I like this. This just layers and layers and layers. Every one of these, by the way, comes out a little bit different. Every time you do this, even if you're doing the same painting, it's going to be a little different. Okay, we're not forgers. That's not what we're doing. We're painters. That's what we're doing. Okay, I'm going to get some more of the blue on the brush. This is so fun. You're going to really learn about these tertiary colors as you do this. So I've got kind of a darker, richer color there. Can you see me doing this, right? So here I am. Look at that. Mixing that, having some fun with that. Mixing some fun. So this is a little more going on than, say, the spring blossom painting. So if you're a brand new, never painted painter, this would be a little bit more going on than doing spring blossoms. So you might want to do the wisest two and some spring blossoms and some different things to kind of work up those painting skills to feel really successful at this. But you know what I say? Jump on in. Jump on in and have some fun. Because what are you doing if you're not having fun? So I made a slightly darker blue color here. Do you see that? I'm putting it in. Putting it in. Putting this all in. I'm not even really worried. One of the things I'm not worried about is painting out all this sky. That's not concerning me. That doesn't worry me. Oh, I like that. That's so much fun. Layer, 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 layer. Okay. Now, with this 1 inch, I'm going to go in here. This is already kind of dry for me. Okay, if it wasn't, you would hit it with the hair dryer. And I'm going to take some of this yellow and this ochre. Look at that. Look at that color. Look, 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 look. I know, I'm like, look, but it's fun, okay? And I'm going to apply another little tree event happening here, okay? Because there's some layers going on in my woods. Whose woods these are, I do not know. His house is in the village, though. Like that, I swear my mother has burned into my brain. If she were watching this, she'd be laughing. Right now, I'm like, I've got her. Frost, the poet we like. That's what I'm saying. you know. This is one of those paintings, you know, you don't, when we get to the place where we're ready to put in the couple, you may decide that, you know, you like it just as a landscape. It makes a fabulous landscape as well. All right. And now I'm going to take some of this color and take some of this color and I'm going to, look at this, I'm breaking it up. See, dabbing. You're like, wow, this is craziness. My brain is freaking out. Do not kid yourself. This is a mental workout. If you go to a retreat or you're new to painting and you find yourself exhausted and you're like, what's the deal with me? You are literally forging new neural connections in your brain. That is some serious stuff. That's like growing up again. That's like turning back the clock on aging in your brain. Busy, busy stuff. Busy, busy stuff. So honor what you're feeling because you're really feeling it. Don't kid yourself. It's happening. Don't kid yourself. It's definitely, definitely happening. I'm going to add a little, just here and there of this. And I think I want a dark green also here. I'm going to get some of this cad yellow, some of this blue. I didn't even rinse my brush. You guys catch that? I'm just like going. I've got this sort of deep green, and I'm going to come in here, add some of that. Okay? Hopefully you are seeing it. You're seeing what's happening on this side. Rinsing out my brush. Okay, now I'm going to get some more yellow green. Still the green. I'm going to think about some things over here. Look at this. I'm going to think about some things happening over here. See this over here? See what I'm doing? Think about where you're placing the brush strokes. I am moving very quickly, and if you copied exactly what I was doing very diligently, that would certainly impact what you would experience as a result. But maybe, you know, your little spirit's like, I am too free-spirited for that. That ain't me. That is not me. That is not me. This is not an in and out painting, by the way, guys. It is not an in and out painting. You're in it. You are in it. You have walked into a painting. You're doing it now. Right? You couldn't do this at a sip and paint, guys. Because they gotta close. They gotta close. You know, they can't use up this kind of paint. This is a much brighter green I'm putting in here. Adding some of that. I'm gonna just a little bit there. Maybe a little bit here. So I'm building up these layers of color. But now I'm gonna get this dark color. A little brown. What did I do there? Don't know! Alright, seeing that happen? Now we're gonna add some foliage, right? Some of this back here. I will look for holes is what I do. You're going to see me dabbing around back and forth on maybe this path. And I'm looking for places to put bits of color to create a mental balance. You are seriously, you cannot believe I'm now on this side over here and I'm pushing in here. And I'm working on the tip of my brush and I'm pushing it over towards the right and then I'm coming back. My pressure, it's almost a scrumbling, which we've talked about before. It's about a medium pressure and I have faith in you guys. I cannot wait to see this painting. For those of you that jump on in and go ahead and try it, that would be awesome. I'm gonna fill in some of this light area with this darker color. All right, let's make sure it's green. You are like, wow, I am color mixing on another level now that I have never done, ever. What is going on? Oh, got too much yellow. It happens to all of us. I just get a little too much going. Happens to all of us. Look at that, I got a little white. Putting up a little bit up there. Taking out here. To the degree that you can hang with this quilting. If you're a quilter, dude, this is in your space. I've quilted, I'm telling you. This is in your space. A lot of times quilters will be like, oh, I can't paint. Dude, you can totally, if you can quilt, you can paint. If you can scrapbook, you can paint. If you can art journal, you can paint. You can do this. If you can fix a car in your garage, you can paint. The same. It is in our human nature to need to communicate. Now, I talk to my male painters. One of the things that happens sometimes when you guys are jumping into a new thing and you're not entirely sure what you're doing, you get a little resistant to the skill. And I want to say, no, man up, do it. No, you guys can really do this. All you've got to do is just relax into it. It is really good for you. It is good for your blood pressure. It's good for your cholesterol. It doesn't involve you eating a horrible bran muffin. And once you guys embrace painting, you usually take it on in a full life, whole life way, which I think is very, very good. I think painting is as important for the men as the women. I say this because I know a lot of men will paint this painting because they have images that they're attracted to. I certainly will be continuing to put up images that are both genders or more male-centric or more female-centric so that we can have all of the art experiences that we want. How is this looking? How are you feeling? Be like, I did it. I did it. I'm painting a landscape and it's not freaking me out because I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm painting a landscape and I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm painting a landscape. I'm having a moment. I made my hat. Do you like my hat? The apron, Sassy Apron, but I made my hat. And you guys, by the way, you too, you go to Sassy Apron or you go to Emptiness Designs, which I'm always listing. They'll make you a custom apron for your awesome man self that's got grit. That's got grit. Oh, all right. We're going to get out. I will do this with my 1/2 inch angle brush. You could do this with a good sharp 1/2 inch brush, okay? And I'm going to get a little white and a little black. And I'm going to make a soft gray, but a noticeable gray, okay? And over here, I'm going to come up. I'm going to start at where my horizon line was, plant my brush, and very lightly come up, wandering, 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 and I'm going to make a little branch or tree. And it's further away, so it's a little grayer. I'm going to have a little branch coming here and here. Trick to this, guys, pressure. Keep your pressure light, okay? My lines are thinner because my pressure is light and my hand is steady, all right? Now, you could, if you're like, this is really tough for me, you could use one of these little detail brushes. That's acceptable. Any brush that gets that branch in is acceptable. In art, whatever gets it done is acceptable. You know, so do it how you got to do it. I'm going to bring this up here. I'm just making sure that I have some trees. Get some more black. Make sure it's gray, is to get some trees that are holding all these brightly colored, lush, right? Got one right there. So all trees, what are they? They are thicker at the bottom and thinner as they grow up, right? Where do you guys really struggle in trees? I'm there with you. I'm in your house. Where are you really struggling with trees? Likely, even without looking, it is being confident enough to make the long, fine lines that are going up. Okay? We've talked about this since the beginning of Heart Party. Make sure these lines are long. Lighten your pressure as you finish the stroke. So my hardest push is right here. Hardest, hardest, hardest. And then lighten, 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 and go up. Right? That's how I get that. Something that you can do is warm up your brush. What you say? Warm up my brush. You can get a piece of scratch paper out and practice these lines on a piece of printer paper that you have laying around your house before you put it on the canvas that you're giving as a gift to somebody that you love very deeply. Okay? Don't add the stress to stuff that doesn't need to have the extra stress. Okay? Guys, don't take on a painting that's so far beyond your current skills that it's at this point unachievable. It will be achievable as you keep painting, but like say today it's unachievable, and then say the whole of my future happiness hangs on this painting. That is a lot of pressure to put on your painting. I'm going to come right here and I'm going to make another little branch. That's a lot of pressure to put on yourself, all right? Art is supposed to relieve pressure, not create a whole bunch of more crazy pressure. So don't do that to yourselves. Don't do that. That is not going to work. You're not going to like it. It's not a good idea. Okay, because sometimes I'll get like, how do I paint this? And I'm totally in it to help you guys. It's no judgment. I just know from years of experience, painting needs to be a safe space. Don't make it an unsafe space by putting unrealistic goals on yourself, trying to ask more of art than it can do or that you can do at this moment. Okay? One of the things you might want to embrace is that where you're at today is good enough for everybody that deserves to be in your life. That's how I would say it. Where you are today in all things is good enough for everybody that deserves to actually be in your life. I'm going to put another little tree right here. It'll cross in front because, you know, trees layer, and then it'll have this second little branch because sometimes they do that. And then I'm going to put a bigger, more noticeable tree here. I'm going to really load up my brush with almost pure black paint because this one's close. And so he would feel closer. Okay, I'm just going to make a decision. I'm just putting it in right there. And he's going to come up like this. I'm going to go on the flat to widen this trunk at the base. Oh, I love my 1/2 inch angle brush for being that, right? Remember, I put materials lists on Pinterest, on the webpage, on Facebook. Our artist Chuck Carson helps with creating those. Try to make them fun and enjoyable, right? Okay, and it's going up here, and maybe it's got a little branch here going off that way. I'm going to put another one up this way. So that's that little grip. And I can see that I need another little one right here. Wipe your brush off if you need to wipe your brush off. Get more paint if you need to get more paint, okay? Just don't stress on the stuff that's not worth stressing over. So again, today, not as painting as buttery as I would have liked from like the last time, but still painting. And that's just something to think about. That happens to me when I'm buying canvas. I'll have like one time I buy from a company and the canvas is so good, it's like shocking, and then the next time it's not as good. And that ain't my fault. They need to think about what they're doing there. Now, to give this a sort of palette knife effect, I'm going to take some white and I'm going to come across. See how I'm doing that? I'm coming up on the edge as if I lightened it with a palette knife. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to pick up some and load it on my edge. I'm going to come here and then come into the tree just a little bit with your white some places. I'm not painting out the black. I'm just implying some stuff is happening here. Okay? You do that, I'll do that. There we go. So now we have these sort of places to hang events or bushes or things on. I'm going to come and I'm going to make some more of my dark green, right? And I'm going to, look at that, take out some of the story of my branches. Some of it, I'm going to get some much darker blue and sienna here. This is a very dark color. And I'm going to see how dark that is. I'm going to come here. Breaking it up. Breaking it out into this space is everything. Breaking it up now. Changing up that story. Look, I'm going to come here. I need more burnt sienna on that. Just grab it. It's okay that's got some blue there because this is, and I am telling a story of something happening right around that tree base. It's very dark. These things are very close to me. It's just this burnt sienna and this blue, which creates this great green. Who knew it did? Okay. Look at me, I'm breaking it up. Breaking it up. This is not our fastest in and out painting. This is probably one of our most satisfying paintings. You're in a workshop to do this, you would definitely pay some money to be there. But it's for free for you on YouTube. Yes, it is. How do I do it? It's my secret. Right? That's my secret. Okay, come this side, doing some of that same stuff. When I put a little bit of paint over that tree, I push it back, don't I? When I put a little bit of paint over that tree, I push it back. I'm going to get some blue. Let's get some yellow ochre. We want a very dark, deep story here. I'm going to create what will later be this sort of outcropping of close bush. Grab some cat. And these are deep colors. These are not gemmy colors. You know, we work a little more when we work with the phthalo to get these deep colors than if we did ultramarine. But phthalo is more forgiving in the green ranges to me about these things. I enjoy it more as a working tool most of the time. Doesn't mean I don't ever get into the other. I do. So that's a nice base, right? Look at that. Look at that. Now you've got this great green forest. You could be like, oh my God, I got through it. I'm done. You can pause me and start again tomorrow. Right? Right? You can fast forward me. I'm going to do anything. This is a good time to change out your water. Take a sip, have a snack, intermission. Pause me. We're actually almost done with the forest. We are going to grab one of my happy little 1/2-inch hog's hair acrylic brushes. Now, all you want out of this particular brush is right around a 1/2-inch width, and you want a very stiff bristle. You want it to really, really have some strength to it, some fort, right? So that's all you really need out of it. You could do it with like this crazy brush. It would be fine, or you just want a little bit with it. And I'm going to come over and I'm going to take my dog's name purple over to my red. And I'm going to make a deep, maybe I'm going to take my red to my dog's name purple. Maybe it's a, the mountain to Muhammad to the mountain kind of a thing. Figure out where it's easiest for you to get the color. Because I don't want a true purple, right? But I want a deep color for which I'm going to hang all of this nonsense on. And I'm going to start making these open brush strokes around. Don't make crazy patterns. Leaves aren't in sensible patterns. I'm over here in the corner. I'm coming down. Don't go all down the canvas. Follow kind of where I'm going, okay? Don't get crazy ahead of me because we're going to be making this shape that sort of fills up in a particular way. All right? And actually, well, I'm going to see how this fills in before I add the next layer of branches. I'm going to fill this in right here. Put your brush in the water for a second. Get your detail brush out. I think I want to put this in now. I think it's going to be the least stressful place for you to put it in now. I think we're going to enjoy putting it in now. Just get some dark black gray. Diagonally coming across here. Hang some, you know how trees have like those downward little branches? Put some in. Just a couple. Don't get crazy. Make them light. They can be sort of see-through. You don't even need to say where they're attached to. This is going to freak you out. You don't even need to say where they're attached to. We just need some. Just trust me, we need some. Because we're going to be talking about this big sort of overly overhead tree. You're going to want some of these little branches. All right, now you can get your 1/2 inch back out. Okay. Now in the step-by-step, when we get to the girl, just to manage your expectations, I think we're going to do her dress in white. Okay, if you want it in purple, the video will be the instructions on how to get it in purple. I just want you to be able to see the steps the easiest. Okay, I felt like it was just a little too white on white with the umbrella, so I changed it to purple. Because to me, that was just a little bit more friendly for your experience, and I think about your guys' experience all the time. You know, I'm getting hit up by, you know, different people right now to partner or do things or demo things, and it pretty much I'm literally down to how does it help the community? Because if it's not helping us stay connected and you stay painting, it doesn't really benefit anyone. Benefits somebody who's trying to make money to sell things. That's what it benefits. But if I'm going to tell you I like something, it's because I like something. And then if something changes it, I don't like it. I don't like it. And it's just about what my experience is, right? Like, if I'm like in Hobby Lobby today or in Michael's today, it's because I was literally there today. See how that is layering up? This is not a small amount of paint you will be using, and this is not a small amount of effort you will put out. All right, teaching a full class here. We are not just playing today. Well, we are still just playing, but it's a serious bit of fluff right here going on. Okay. Well, I'm gonna bring some of these right here and maybe some here. Look at how I'm leaving holes. One of the best things I ever heard was allow room for birds to fly through or squirrels to be in and out. Leave room for the nature that's living in these trees. And I don't care if you're doing an abstract or you're doing a highly realistic piece, and maybe we'll try to do one of those in the future if you guys are up for it. But leave room for things to happen, okay? Now I'm going to do a little bit of this purple also over here. All right. There's this little tree here, and he has a little bit of this going on. He does this fantastic, fantastic purple. Can you believe that you are right now making for yourself your own palette knife looking painting? And you're not even using a palette knife, and it's fantastic. And you did it, and it's from your hand and your heart. Can you believe that? Like, I'm putting some right here. I'm really hoping that this camera here, let's make sure you're seeing it. See that right there, how I'm doing that? I'm just hoping this is one that you're really seeing everything I'm doing and you're feeling really good about what you're seeing. I'm going to fill this one in a little more. Brush here. This is going to be an edit. It is going to be a challenge to be edited. Alright, there we go. So that's that nice sort of base there of these deep colors. They are important. And this would be another area where having the best grade paint that you can buy absolutely, truly makes a difference, because the coverage, the ability to cover what's underneath of there, it matters. And put some here. Now, get some of this amazing color, because guess where it's got to go? It's got to go down here. Watch where I'm putting it. I'm not getting crazy with this. I think about this stuff a lot. Some over here. What I am looking for balance. Alright. Now I'm going to start maybe even getting a little rougher with this stroke as I'm putting this color here. And I see a little space over here that could use some of this. Right here across this tree happening. And some here. Now I'm starting to kind of dab more because I realize I've got to, maybe in the back just a little bit, I go dizzle, dizzle, dizzle. Dizzle, 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 dizzle. This, when I get further back, one of the things that I do, little pro tip here, is that I know things that are further away from me are not as vibrant. They're grayed out. They're far away. That's called atmospheric perspective. And I will lighten my brush a lot, and almost like a dusting with chalk. Okay? I will add a color that I want to be present throughout the painting, but in a very light-handed way, thus pushing back its influence in the painting. You may be a new painter, but I will drop that on you right now. That's some true stuff. All right. So now I've done that. That was pretty darn good. Wasn't that pretty darn good? We're going to just do a slightly off, not full CAD. Next tone up. This is about values and tones. Now that we're all over that 50 Shades of Gray, we can just get back to values and tones. So it's not as dark as the purple we put everywhere. It's certainly a lot more red. We're going to start adding the color. Color that makes this a symphony for the eye. Look at me thinking about where I'm putting it, though. Think about where I'm putting it. Learning to find where you need to put things to feel the harmony is one of the great rewards of art, because you learn to figure out where to put this color, you learn to figure out where to put things in the order of importance in your life. Crazy, but it's true. The self-discovery that you get through painting is super shocking. Doesn't necessarily make you a good person, because there certainly have been some terrible people that painted, okay? But they did understand themselves and what they needed. That's what I'm saying. Understand yourself, who you are, hear your own inner voice, shut down that marketing, shut down that constant barrage of, you better do this to be a happy person, or you better do this to be a happy person. You're going to hear your own happy person instructions in there. They're in there. You know what you need, right? I'm always saying you're not immortal, so you don't have the time to be miserable. This is the time to find out what it is you need for your life to work for you. Alright, so I'm putting this around. Now, if you're really, really new, this might be a painting that you do over 1 day, 2 days, okay? You don't necessarily have to do it in a marathon. If you're 20 or 30 paintings in, you should be able to do this in a sitting. But if you're 5 paintings in, give yourself a space. Alright? This is like getting in shape. So I hear. It takes a minute. It takes a minute to do. And except where you're at. Look at how that's looking. It's just, when I lived in France with my mother, talk about this a lot, we went up during fall. Wow. Wow. So that's where I really sometimes get, and if you've been following me, you've noticed that I have that, is that sometimes where I get my feeling for these pieces or this space is that I was there with her and we had this particular experience. We are going to go through some CAD today, by the way, and some colors. Expect to go through some color. It's happening. Okay. You're going to be going through some colors. And that is alright. I'm looking for places to put my colors. Putting out some more CAD. So that's the controversy, right? Is cadmium paint safe? Painted with it my whole life, but I never eat it, ever. Ingest the paint water or eat it. I certainly wouldn't ever just give it to a kid, but they have hue if you have a concern. It's not the intensity. It's why artists are being weird about it, is because it's not the vibrancy. It does not please the eye the way that some other things do, so that's where we get it. Okay, so I'm back to that. I'm in that color, sort of brick color. I'm going to come here and I'm going to start dabbing. This I love. It's time consuming. I don't skip ahead myself. I let you be in charge of skipping ahead on these things if you don't need to see every dab. The reason I don't ever skip ahead myself is I'm your guide, right? You're on your painting journey, but I'm your guide, and it would be really rude for a guide to just say, well, 7-minute videos get better views, so I'm gonna make this what is well over an hour lesson something that's gonna get me a better metric, and you guys are sort of left hanging wondering how you're gonna paint it. Just not gonna do that. You know, not gonna be something that I'm gonna do here. I will leave that to other people to do their way. It's perfectly acceptable. It's just not right for what we're doing. Sometimes you need to see how I'm making decisions. If you were at a workshop with me, you'd pay through the nose. Just not anymore. I'm trying to actually change that. I think art should be accessible to people, but traditionally you pay anywhere from $300 to $800 to sit with an artist that, you know, understands what they're doing, just to even watch them. They may not even tell you how they're doing it. That's an experience. That's why I'm always saying, like, art for artists, that's covered. If you're already an artist and you go to a workshop for another pro artist, they're not going to hold your hand and tell you what they're doing. They're going to work through, they're going to expect you to know what you're doing. My goal for you is you hang with me for a while, you do a bunch of my paintings, you can go to a workshop and hang with everybody going, I actually know everything we're doing. Like, and I know some of you have. We've had some people go to some workshops and have some real success, and they were confident and they were comfortable, right? That's my goal, where you're like, I'm here and I'm having the fun with everybody else, and I know what's going on. I understand what's happening with this. Everything she's saying, I'm getting it. Where did I learn it? Right here, for free, on YouTube. That's where you learned it. For free. Okay. So, put it out here. Now, that light thing I'm talking about, where I just do a light amount of color in the background, I do that. We may not see a lot of my work here, by the way, because when I put the couple in here, as I put them in, they may take out a huge amount of my work. The craftsmanship of how I layer, right? I don't mind losing some of this to the ether when I'm putting them in, because the work is not about the result. It's about what your brain is going through. My brain right now, even talking to you, which is challenging when I'm in such a happy space, and I'm in a really happy space right now doing this, and I just want to go bob on everybody, be like, Happy little dabs in the forest floor. Don't you feel happy with your dab, dab, dab? I want to go there because that's where my brain is at. I call that the Bob effect. That's when you're really in the zone and you're trying to talk to somebody. All right. So we're going to come over here. I'll tell you what, guys, when you're talking about being able to talk to your kids when you're painting, you are not kidding. Paint with your teenagers. You want to know what's happening in their lives. They're going to talk to you. They're going to be in such a space doing this that you're going to actually find out what's going on in their lives. Okay? If you're having trouble talking to your mom, paint with your mom. Puts people in a different headspace. It allows us to relate to each other, be more authentic and true. Look at that. Layer unlocked. Achievement mid-level leaves. Yay! Rinsey, 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 rinse. And you're like, how many more layers? A lot. Actually, probably what we have is a cad red, then the orange, and then the light orange, and then the light yellow. We're not in that bad of a space, so don't panic. What are you thinking? Oh, that's so pretty. I can see that on this camera right here. Hi, how are you doing? Is this camera... Tell me in the comments. Tell me in the comments if you're liking this camera, if this angle is helping, because that's a fourth camera in edit, so if it's not helping, you know, we should know, but if it is helping, man, speak up. Tell me. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Get your Just CAD. Get your Just CAD. Now here's the money. Now we're going to put the Just CAD some places. And I know you guys are like, if you're painting with the real CAD, you're kind of like, do you know how much the CAD costs? Yes, I do. Buy it all the time. Won't buy anything else. And I am being nice because I don't make you guys get any of the Series 7 or up paints. I'm not making you buy anything that's $60, $70, or $80 too. Believe you me, they're out there. Are they worth it? Yes. Yes, they are. Amazing. Not necessary for here. But this gives you an experience like none other is worth it. CAD hue will cost you less. If you can get the real deal though. Oh my goodness, do I wholly recommend it. Look at that going. I love it. I love it. Just a couple there. Think about where you're putting it. Think about where you're putting it. Not just because you're trying to conserve paint, but because where you put these colors will matter. It will matter a lot. Like I'm kind of just hitting the highlights of these branches, and at some point I'll focus it to a particular side, implying light coming through the dappled trees. Even though it's abstract, I'm still thinking about those things and wondering about them and processing them. So if you're noticing what I'm doing, you'll notice that I'm keeping it maybe to the outer edge, and then just a little bit so that there's some deepness in these dark, dark woods that we do not know. Right? That's what I'm doing. I'm going to get some more CAD, and I'm going to come here, and I'm going to I might have to put some more out. Yay. I love my CAD. Get paint on there. I do this all the time. The mysterious paint spread. What? Are you doing good? Are you doing okay? You got this. You have this. You do. You can do this. No panicking. Panicking is not allowed. I'm going to put a little more out. Panicking is not allowed today. Only painting, only fun, only love and romance, only happiness. Think about the person that this is for. Is this for you? Think about yourself and how you deserve this painting. If this is for somebody in your life that you love, think about them and how you love them and how they will enjoy getting this from you. Right? If you're doing this for Mother's Day, what a gift for Mother's Day. Right? Or Father's Day, you know, for your fiance, for the person in your life that, you know, you hope you're moving forward with. You know, just think about the person that this is for. Right, putting some of this here. Putting some of this here. Showing you here, right? Look at me dabbing out. I'm going to take a little purple over to my red again. I'm going to tone it out a bit. I'm going to knock it back, and then I'm going to do something shocking. I'm going to get my yellow. And I've got this sort of muted but lighter color here. And you're going to see me, I'm going to take this to the bottom first. We are working our colors here, aren't we? Little bit of the purple. See, purple and yellow are contrast, so when they get with each other, they do some interesting stuff. And if you're trying to keep something from being too vibrant, or you're trying to create, you know, something, and I think we're going to have to even go back in here. And this is another thing to realize. When you're doing a painting like this and you're looking for holes, you're going to find them. You're going to find holes and you're going to say to yourself, I've got to go back with another color and mute it or change it or alter it. And that is where the sweet spot is in the painting. And that's going to happen. See, I'm working this. Okay. Keep with that color for right now. We'll go back with green in a minute. Get this orange, and come up here and work some of this lighter color into your trees. All right? Work it in, work it in, work it in. These fall leaves. These amazing leaves that we're celebrating in spring. Okay? I'm bringing this color all around here, lightening it up, enjoying it. Enjoying it. Are you enjoying it? I'm really guiding you through this one because I want you to get this incredible result. I want you to have I know you're tired, but I want you to just hang in there or pause me and go have a little dinner break, or come when the kids let you have a little rest, or whenever you can get in. This isn't a marathon. That's why I love being here. You set the pace. You do. You decide if you listen to whatever I'm rambling about. You do. It's so nice to have control over what is happening in your space, isn't it? Let me dab that there, right? Here I am right here with this lighter color. Now I'm going to just keep working that. I just hit a couple dots there. I don't know why I did that. Felt like it. Happens. Sometimes I get a little mood going. Alright, now for giggles. Rinse out your brush somewhat. Uh-oh. Then down. Ignore that I did it. We're going to get a little yellow, a little ochre. I'm going to just come back Use some green in here, okay? Just want you to put some green. And they're even going to mix because the paint's on here, but it's worth it. And we're going to put some of that. Sometimes it's going to get a little more blue. I'm not stressed about that. What I want is just to put some rich tone back. Do you see what I'm doing? Working that tone back. Meandering. Breaking up the patterns. That's what I'm always looking for. That's what I'm always hunting for. Breaking it up. And once the couple's in, then I'm going to come back with some of the sky reflection. You know, if you've got to scrumble it, work out a tone. See where I looked for that hole, and I found it, and I filled it. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm being observational. Doesn't matter where you're from. Gender, we're all have an inner brain that's communicating. It's using these processes to tell a story. Help it do so. If you're painfully shy, paint. Paint, 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 paint. All right, fun stuff now. I'm going to get a little yellow and a little white. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to make little kisses to the canvas. Now we're just kissing the canvas. And I am imagining these little clusters of, and I'm not getting crazy with it, okay? Maybe I'm going to come here and I'm going to follow along here with this light color and add that little highlight there. And I might come here along this little bush and I let the paint underneath mix. As it would if I were painting with a palette knife. It would. You guys see? If I had a palette knife, there would be a lot of the paint underneath mixing with the paint on top. There'd be a lot of color mixing happening on the canvas. So if you can relax enough to allow that, that will help give your technique what it needs to happen. And you'll notice I'm not really mixing here. I am allowing different values and tones to be happening in this final sort of touch to create this, right? That's what I'm doing. I am doing that. I know we're really painting with each other today, and it's a lot. And I was like, oh, are you going to really do that? And I thought, yeah, these guys can handle it. They're amazing. You guys are amazing. You artists are amazing. Amazing, amazing people. Brave enough to try painting is amazing to me. That's tough enough, right? To be brave enough to get in there and paint. And that little yellow there. Maybe a little there. And now let's work the forest floor. Letting the colors mix. I am. I'm letting the colors do their thing here. Here we go. They're mixing. There's light tones, there's heavy tones, but I'm letting it mix. Wipe off on your brush if you need to. Get some more. Let it mix. And now you're starting to really see, like, there is a thing about having a quality paint to get some of these things done. Is this not awesome? Do you love it? Love it. I love this thing. Do you love this? I'm loving this. This is gorgeous. Couldn't do this anywhere else, right? Couldn't do this anywhere else. All right, now, right here, you could be just like, I'm not up for the couple. You could varnish this. You could hang this on the wall. You could be done with it for the day. I'm going to dry it with a hairdryer because honestly, to put the couple in, we need it dry. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sketch in the couple that's walking. Now there's a couple of ways to get this in. If you're really not confident in figure drawing, and it's totally reasonable, that's a skill that comes in time. One of the things that you can do is print out a picture of the couple, use carbon paper, and transfer it on to the painting that way. There's a lot of fantastic tutorials on how to use carbon paper to transfer artwork. So that is a totally valid, awesome way to get that image on the canvas. If you're feeling like, no, I can really handle painting that in, I'm going to talk about this step by step. There'll be a step-by-step pinnable on Pinterest and on the webpage, so you can do it either way. It's all up to you. There's no fail, there's no wrong, there's no make a mistake and it's all just ruined. It's fine, okay? It's just art, it's good. Just don't worry about it, because then art isn't really doing what you need it to do. I'm going to sketch this in white paint so that you can see it. Okay, is what I'm going to do. Hopefully that is seeable. And then you guys just do it in chalk or pencil or some way that is not as permanent. So the first thing that I like to do is to make a half circle. Okay, just this little arch. And on the base of the umbrella, I am going to definitely arc it into a smile. This is like a little smile, little Mona Lisa smile here, okay? You see that there? You seeing that there? So this is this little smile that I've got going here, okay? Now, my longest rung of my umbrella, which is going to go a little bit past my smile, so I can make my little scallops, is bisecting the middle. At about an equal distance on either side, I'm going to place another little scallop down. I'm not going to stress over this, okay? You know, if you want to look at some umbrellas on your smartphones or your devices, that's okay, or to trace an umbrella that you like better. That is okay, guys. This is your creative process. All right? Don't paint this in paint like I am. I'm just doing this for the purposes of showing you what's happening. Are you guys seeing that? Hopefully this new camera is working brilliantly and you guys are seeing everything that I'm doing. If not, facing it towards this one, we're going to get it in. I'm going to give another little line right here and another little line right here. Another reason it's very nice to have this dry is my hand would be just covered in paint by now. Okay? I'm going to scallop, 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 scallop. That's all. That's all I'm doing. I'm just doing some scalloping. Just gives it a nice umbrella little feel. See that there? See that right there? Alright, now I'm going to draw in the guy. And I like to say men are peanuts and squares, and women, men are squares and women are peanuts. Right? Or, you know, apples and pears. Wherever you're at in life, I'm more in the apple pear range. But, you know, hey, wherever you are. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put in his torso, which is kind of this, you seeing this right here, sort of rectangle shape. I'm going to do a little shoulder off here. I'm really not telling the whole story about him. See that shape? I'm not telling his whole story. What I don't tell, and what is really wonderful about these palette paintings, what I don't tell helps me paint him in better. Alright, and then he's going to have some little jeans coming down here. I'm just going to square off his legs. I'm going to give him a butt about a thumb down from his coat line. I'm just going to square off his legs. There's Miss Greta. Alright, telling somebody they shouldn't walk by the house because she's very vigilant. And then slightly above the first leg, just shorter, about 1/4 of an inch, because this one's walking forward. And then it's going to fold in at the knee and then come here, is another pant leg. Okay, do you see that there? Another pant leg. All right, now she, obviously, she's going to come in. She's going to be all tucked into him. And I'm going to give her a little waistline and say her little skirt is, okay, hold on a second. We will just edit that all up, hopefully. Okay. All right. So her little skirt's going to blow out. And I'll just sketch that a little bit so you can kind of see that. See, that's going to blow out like that just a little bit. And then I'm going to give her just very similar to what we did with the one girl we had walking in the rain, but maybe not even as detailed. Just fine little legs that are going to go down like this, okay? And we'll do those in black. Now, the last thing that is super important about what we're doing here is his shoulder coming down to an arm that's holding her around her waist. So he's holding her around the waist. That's what makes this romantic and wonderful and exciting. Okay, let's paint this in. I'm going to get a small, I think I'll start with a 1/2 inch. I may get down to a 1/4 inch bright. You might do details, okay? And I'm going to get some deep gray because I want the base of my white umbrella to be deep gray and a little bit of blue. This is almost a Payne's gray. You see this here? It's not just a gray. It's like almost a Payne's gray. And I'm going to paint this in, this base shape in with this. Paint this in with this. Alright, let's get that all painted in with that color. This is the base that I'm going to use for my shapes here. It gives a nice deep color to work up from. And it keeps us from really worrying about using true black, which can gray a piece out. Alright, so I'm going to work that in. This is going to be a little bit of a hustle to get in, but I think that you can do it. I think that we can do it. Alright. Come along. And I will just paint this in. I'm going to put my scallops in a little bit later, in a minute. I just want to get this base in. May come back with some just straight black and put those scallops in. Okay, so that nice umbrella shape there. And I'm going to take him and I'm going to get a little brown and a little black. Might even add a little blue to that. And I'm going to make this deep tone of his shirt. Right? I just want to find it. Find that deep tone. And you'll be looking for colors sometimes. You'll be like, where is it? And then you'll see it and go, oh, there it is. Right? And I just want that. Just want that right here. I'm going to come underneath here. Believe it or not, all those little customizations, they make a difference. Right? They make a little difference. Look at the little shoulder coming here. And it's an odd shape I'm putting in, but when I put in the highlights, very much like when I put in those highlights on the trees, this all changes. It changes incredibly. And then all of a sudden you can really see your husband or your boyfriend or, you know, your wife in the piece. Paint with each other. It's amazing. Paint with each other. Paint for each other. All right, so he's got that little shape in. That doesn't seem that intimidating as the shape goes. All right, now I'm going to take some black and some blue. I don't want just straight black. We're going to do some black and some blue. And I'm going to put in his pants. Yeah, one of the things that I like about the pants is if they're wrinkled, if they're not perfect. If they're, you know, that sort of comfort jean that you can get. Right? You're seeing that there coming in. That comfort jean that you can get. Alright. Just put this in. I know this can be a challenge. Your brain's having to do a lot of work here. Just try to learn from it and grow from it. Every time you do it, it gets easier. This is not a destination. It is definitely a journey. Alright. While this is still wet, I'm going to get some blue and some white. And I'm going to do some interesting stuff here. I'm going to come along under his jacket here and hip. Come along under his jacket and hip. And I'm going to hit just a little highlight. Just a little bit. And then come around here and go in along this outer leg. Now, I'm going to apply a little butt cheek here. Very important little dab. Butt cheek dab. Give the butt cheek dab. And then on the inside of this leg, I'm going to come along and give another little highlight. It's very similar. I'm not being tight. I'm being very relaxed about this process. Okay, guys? Putting a little bit there. See that? Now, I can see right now, for this, I've got to go back and add a shadow. And there's a reason why. I want to give him a butt. He needs a butt. My man needs a butt. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to take a little bit of that out so that he's got one. Right there. A little bit of that out. Little touch, but it matters. Now I'm going to grab some brown on my brush. I didn't really rinse my brush out. I'm going to come along this shoulder. Right? Grab a little more. Come along here on the outer shoulder. Just creating the wrinkles to this jacket. This long, loose jacket. My husband would tell you it's an American cut because he's very into his clothes and stuff. So, right there. Then I'm going to get, interestingly enough, I'm going to get some Just Cat Red and mix it with my brown here a little bit. I'm going to come in, add a dab there. You see the dab? Dab, something underneath here. And then a little bit there, and a little bit there. And then get your white and come here at the shoulder and take a fold of clothing down. Some here too. A fold of clothing down. It shows that this is this jacket. Look at your man just walking in the woods. Just walking, holding on to you. All right. Girl, is pretty simple. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give her some darker hair. So I'm going to take some brown and some black. Okay. And I'm going to get the hair in here. Come under here. We're going to get some hair. We're not even going to play. Girlfriend needs some hair. She's got some hair blowing. Alright? It's a windy day. That's why he's holding on. It's cold. We're going to let that dry for a second. Her windy, windy hair. Okay. And then we're going to come and get some blue and purple. Blue and purple. You're going to paint in the little bit of her body that's showing before his arm. You're going to paint in the little bit of her body that's showing before his arm. And then you're going to come underneath the arm and blow out this fabulous couture skirt. She's shopping. She got something beautiful for this date. He loves this dress. It's a wonderful day together. Feels fabulous. I love spending time with my husband. I do. I love when we have time to go out together. It's just the best. We're very busy, so sometimes that can be really hard to do. Really hard. See her fabulous dress right there, blowing out. And then this is just easy to do. Guess what? You're just going to get some white. A little purple and a little white. And then just a little bit right here. Had a little purple highlight. And then coming out of the skirt, some little purple highlights. It's all that takes. Oh my gosh, how easy is that? Because this is a palette painting, and you wouldn't tell the whole story. You would tell some of the story and allow, I'm going to grab some cad red here. You would allow the painting to finish the story for you. We're going to add some little highlights on her too. Okay. There, just a little bit so that she's part of the piece. She needs just a little bit to be part of the piece. Her legs. Let's keep it simple, guys. She's in heels. Okay. She's in heels. She's walking on heels, or, you know, we're just going to draw down to a tapered point. We're going to draw down to a tapered point. Very tiny, spindly little legs. Alright. You know what? If your girl ends up with not spindly legs, don't judge her. Be nice. There are many, 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 many types of beauty. I'm just talking in the purposes of painting, not in the purposes of what is actually beautiful. Okay, guys? Okay. I'm going to get a little bit of white there. It can have some purple on it. It's okay. I'm going to add a little highlight to her legs. Just that. Alright. And then just go ahead and take a little just black for just a second. And we're going to dab out a little bit of a shadow coming out to weight it. Sometimes what happens when we're working on figures and stuff is we forget these little touches like the shadows. They are important. Okay? They really matter, and you need to have them. I think you guys kind of got the sense of that when you were doing the Walking in the Rain, Femme Fatale in the City. Now take a little blue, take a little brown, a little more blue. Make sure this is more to the blue, because we're going to go put some of that sky back in, and then we're going to finish off our umbrella and then her hair, and then we are out of here. Having a good day. So you want this very light. Okay, I'm going to come in here this sky color. I am coming in here, making sure that it's showing. Look at that. I want it. I'm going to have it. It's there. Filling holes is what I'm doing. Fill the holes. Okay, our umbrella. I'm going to get a detail brush. Load it up with some black. The umbrella should be sort of dry by now, and I'm going to draw in these little spokes. Alright. They get a little away from you, don't worry about it. You can absolutely erase them. Okay, you see that there? A little bit of spoke there. And a little bit of spoke happening here. Just some guidelines so I know where the heck these are. Right, as I'm painting in my white umbrella, but your umbrella could be a different color. I just wanted a white umbrella this time. Alright, just a white umbrella. Now this piece we did today, I originally designed this. I didn't take this from anybody's thing. I'm very careful with what I do. Even if an artist is inspiring to me, because I'm a professional, because I'm providing this artwork the way I am, because I sell artwork, and it's a very different space than, say, being a student, where honestly sometimes you sort of have to copy what people are doing to get it. I'm very careful with what I do. So this is our image. This is a heart party image for sure. Sometimes things are like super derivative, like Eiffel Towers, like how the owls were all kind of going everywhere, and I get that, but you know, I try to make sure that what we have is got good energy. It's free and clear energy. Now I might want to lighten up her skirt a little bit, so I'm going to grab some white and purple. I want it just a little bit lighter. I want a more, before I get up under the umbrella, and I'm going to add just a little bit to that, because again, look for holes, see, but that adds something. Doesn't that add something? Look for where you can add something. Don't put something in for just any old reason, but if you can add something, you know, I might even add a little purple under her. She's so purple, and that might show up. It's a little touch, but it's weird how your eye will catch things like that. Okay. The umbrella. Next color is, I've got my sort of blue-gray. And I'm going to make a lighter than my background color for sure. I'm going to come up here, I'm going to lighten the top. Lighten the top. We're lightening this. I do a very light pressure on this. I did this before. I lighten and lighten and lighten and lighten and allow the painting underneath to show through, so that the colors layer, so that there's depth, right? That's how I get this, even though I'm just using a brush. I am making sure that there's some depth to this piece by allowing the colors to layer. By keeping this dry brush. I'm not getting my brush really, really wet. Sometimes when you're trying to put in a background, you're a real dry brush that plays against you. But when you're trying to paint something that's very painterly and very expressive, a dry brush is your friend, and allowing the paint underneath to show through is something that professionals are much more likely to do than new artists, but is possible for everyone to do. Now I'm going to get a slightly lighter color than what I had there. I've got some color on my brush, and that's cool. And I'm painting at the top of the umbrella, a little stronger. And then because this is down more in shadow, I get lighter. That's what's happening. Okay? It's this weird white umbrella they bought before their date. You can trim up anything you need to right now. Change it. Just paint. Once it's dry, you can paint over it. Not like life. Which actually, I think life has a lot of do-overs too. I think life has a lot of do-overs. You see how I'm just doing this? It's just light. I'm letting the canvas, the tooth of the canvas is grabbing my paint, and I am not running enough, like a lot of water or paint in there to interfere with the layering effect that I'm getting. So I'm going to wipe this dry. I'm going to get even just a little yellow, a little white here. Okay, let's say I'm going to put a little of this yellow and white on my umbrella. So I'm putting that around some places and looking for places to put it that it might be reflecting from. It's because it's when things are wet, they're reflective, and so often one of the best ways to show that something is a wet day is to allow the things that are up top reflect down. That's all it is. I'm gonna rinse out my brush. While I'm at it, it's bugging me, so I'm gonna put in a little spire on my umbrella. I like those. Yeah. It's a weird little touch, but I care. I care that it's there. I do. You know, maybe look, I see a hole in her skirt, it's bugging me. Come down there and take the skirt down lower. Always do that. When we're painting, one of the reasons I allow myself to go back with you guys sometimes and show you this is so that you feel confident to go, oh, I'm gonna go back and fix that because that doesn't work for me. It doesn't please my eye. I'm never asking you to be critical. I'm asking you to be insightful, right? Have some insights into your painting. You already know every place that you feel like you did wrong. You don't really need any more help with that. But go, what can I do? What's in my power and in my skill set to do to make this more pleasing to me? That is a fantastic thing to do as you're growing as an artist, is have some insights into your artwork. Okay, so we're going to get some more white, and this is just white. I think it may have picked up a little yellow, but I don't care. I can always just squeeze out some more white, but I'm nearly there, and this is going to be good. And I'm going to come here, and I'm going to really work the top, and I'm going to make this umbrella quite white now. What I'm going to do, hopefully you can see this, I'm coming in quite white now. It's going to really feel white, but all those layers, they were not for nothing. They all show to your eye. They just do. And where you have the courage to paint and then not paint is where a painting's emotional resonance will happen for you. So it's wonderful to see where can you find those emotional spots, those places of insight and magic. And look at that umbrella, it's just coming in more white, more white. I'm just going to whiten it up. Go. And if you lose something, like if you're like, oh, I lost a spike, don't worry, just your dark color and put it back in. It's just, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You just take it out, you put it in. You take it out, you put it in. Last dab of paint. Last dab of paint, guys, that I'm putting on this canvas because I'm feeling it coming to a resolution for me. Feel that when you're painting. Where's your resolution in your painting? All right. This is spectacular. This is fantastic. I want you to do this. I hope you loved every single dab of paint. I know some of it was a stretch. I know some of it was a stretch. I know some of it was a challenge, but you did it in your week. May you have love. May you have connection. May you be surrounded by people who get you and celebrate you. And may you be one of those people. I want to see you at the easel really soon. Bye. Bye. Bye-bye.